Welcome to chapter 30. This is another revision chapter, and this is going to be the monster revision. Now that we know the whole verbal paradigm, we're going to see if we can actually produce it all. So this is going to be a lot of me clicking through the slides, but you can pause it at any point and see if you yourself could be creating the forms that are going to pop up. So we took two verbs here. Tolash with the verbal stem tol belonging to the first conjugation, and vuchash with the verbal stem vucho belonging to the second conjugation, to wait. And we're starting with the indicative forms, and for all of these forms we want positive, negative, so present tense. Yeah, if you want to test yourself, pause it and then continue. Simple past tense 1, and remember that it is formed in a completely different manner in the first and second conjugation. Simple past tense 2, and yeah, remember that this one goes back to a converb with the ending of the person and the ending of to be, which has been simplified. So the ending itself is the same in both conjugation classes. It's just the formation of the converb that is different in the two. Now we get to the compound past tenses, all four of them. Yeah, I'm not going to say much about them individually anymore. Go back to the recordings if you want. Compound past tense 2. Compound past tense 3. Compound past tense 4. That's it with the indicative forms. Now we come to the imperative forms, where we now know all of them. And I hope you correctly remember that we don't really have first person forms, like first person singular, we don't have anything, and first person plural, we just use the indicative forms. Then we get to the desiderative. Yeah, and here there's actually, when I said that we know the whole paradigm, there's something that I swept under the rug. There are past tense forms of the desiderative that we are still going to meet, and only then do we actually have the full paradigm. But their formation is probably not going to be shocking if you think if you remember the compound past tenses. It's just you take the present tense forms and you add ille or ulmash on, depending on the nature of the evidential nature. And we also already know all the non-finite verbal forms: 2 infinitives, 4 participles, and 5 converbs or gerunds, depending on what we're going to call them. After that monster revision, everything else is basically small potatoes. Just having a quick look at some of the other things we had in the last 4 chapters. We saw that the negative participle in deme, demo, deme can also be attached to, like the same ending can be attached to nominal stems to create privative adjectives. So ush, sense, ushtemo, senseless, yucha, child, yuchademe, childless. We saw how the imperative, third person singular and plural can be used in combination with manen to form final clauses. Like if we just said pushenge inje koshko, it would be may the tree not dry up. But if we say pushenge inje koshko manen, me vudumoptina, it's like we poured water so that the tree would not dry up. And we met another necessative construction with consisting of the future necessative participle in shash with the forms of to be, positive or negative, which is used especially to indicate an ethical obligation to do something. We also, now that we know all the participles, had another revision on how participle constructions preceding modified nouns are used in many situations where we in English in English would more be inclined to use post-post relative clause. Like rather than saying the book that I bought, I would say naam and pelek, the present that I bought, naam and pelek, the bought present. Rather than saying the children that are who are reading a book, you would say the book reading children. And we did discuss how it is possible to create relative pronouns with relative clauses with relative pronouns in Maori, but we also discussed how that whole strategy is somewhat depreciated in Maori. So in the exercises for this chapter, we for once do not have a newspaper, a news clip with a transcription. Instead, we have a little text from a fairy tale where where verbs have to be inflected in the appropriate person given always given in parentheses after the verb, the infinitive. So the song of the week this week is called Muralte Yoltash, which is an oldie, some say. It's a Maori pop song, which was already popular when I started studying Maori in 2007. So it's very cool that Natalia Venina, who operates a Maori teaching channel, primarily using Russian as a meta language, has made a version of this song where you have the lyrics on screen for a sing along or read along, depending on what your inclination is in that respect. So with that being said, that concludes now the fourth of the textbook, the current block of lessons. It also concludes my current recording session. I'm probably going to be recording the next block of these videos in a few months. So don't be shocked if my haircut radically changes between this video and the next one if you're watching this at some distant point in the future. Okay, see you then.